This is Continuum Drag, a weekly podcast where we revisit sci-fi, fantasy, and just plain weird shows.
This week, The After.
You know, I'm really frightened about all this.
Allowed to shelter on my arms.
How will we pay for our sins?
As part of the health plan?
The Book of Revelation? Have you ever read it? I mean, have you ever really read it?
Speaking of the Bible?
Maybe that explains everything. What it is John saw about the serpent and who the prostitute is.
I prefer escort or field de joie.
Welcome to Continuum Drag, the podcast that's all tease, no payoff. I'm Luke, here with my co-host Jordan. What's real, Jordan?
Is that a comment on this show? That's all tease, no payoff?
I don't know, what do you think?
I think it is. I think it is.
Or did you come the whole time?
Oh, geez. Oh, we're starting blue already. Jillian, what do you think of that?
Safe to say that's what I expected this podcast to be like.
This week we are joined by a guest, Gillian. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Since this is a science fiction podcast, we need to know, what's your history with science fiction?
The
Are you a
fans
fan?
need to know.
I'm more of a fantasy gal.
I mean, that falls into the realm, but good to know you lean more fantasy than perhaps spaceships.
Absolutely.
You like a dragon.
Absolutely. I love a dragon. I like, I like the wars and the treks of the world. I like those.
All right.
But I'm not very familiar with...
Anything outside of that?
Not much.
Okay.
You like Space Jam?
Oh, it's my favorite film.
There you
What
go.
about you? How do you feel about Space Jam, Jordan?
Not as much.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't hit you at the right time?
Yeah, I think I might be. I'm a few years older than Jillian. I think maybe I was a little too old when it came out.
When was the last time you rewatched? Because mine was 2 weeks ago, and it was fire.
30 years ago? I don't know.
You should rewatch it. It's hilarious. It's the Looney Tunes.
Why are we not watching Space Jam and talking about
Oh
that
my
on
God.
the
When
podcast?
you guys watch Space Jam, because it is a science fiction, technically, it's aliens. Hello.
I'm sure it aired on television one time.
There you go.
Well, all right. So that gives us a general idea. Wars, Trek, and anything with Bugs Bunny and Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Those are your science fiction jams. All right. Well, this week we are watching the failed pilot for The After, a Amazon original.
Yeah, but then it's not available on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
I checked.
My understanding is this was like early in their foray into making original content. And they just like paid a bunch of people to do pilots, and they dropped them online, and they just kind of saw kind of what the numbers were like on them.
It didn't seem like a bad idea. It was sort of like a crowdsourcing, like, we're going to give you a bunch of shows. Tell us what you like. And I saw they released this, and Bosch was the other show.
Hey,
which actually is
Bosch is still going, isn't it?
just
Yeah.
finishing this season, so it did
Wow.
well.
Well-
But those were the two that released. I don't know if it was the same day or the same period, though, to see what people thought.
2014 it came out, right?
20...
Yes, 2014.
Yeah, that's right.
And of course, we should mention the creator of the show,
Yeah, Chris Carter.
X-Files enthusiast.
Right, yes.
Which was an interesting thing, because I think this is our, on this podcast, the second Chris Carter thing we've done, right?
Yeah.
Freaky Links, and now this. Do you know he has his own trope? It's called the Chris Carter effect.
Oh, what's that?
It is, I'll give the definition. It says, the Chris Carter effect happens when a work is wholly focused on twists and turns without properly building up to a satisfactory resolution.
Interesting.
Accurate.
It's like a little TV trope for Chris Carter.
But see, I actually didn't know that it was a pilot. I thought it was like
Standalone?
a TV movie, because I think it does stand alone.
Do you?
I thought it...
Well, we'll get into it, but
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear. I'm interested to hear more about this theory. I'm assuming no one's heard of this before, so we're going all in blind on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. So it was released on February 6th, 2014, and I've got a little history facts for you here. It was the day before the Sochi Winter Olympics. You remember those, Jordan?
I do remember them, yeah.
Yeah. Those were the ones the Russians got caught with all those that doping. That's a good documentary, by the way.
It is a good documentary, yeah. The Icarus, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was 4 days after the death of Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh, that was, I heard that was the reason this didn't make it, was because people were still in mourning.
They were still mourning around that. I've got one last little thing for you, Jordan.
You were in a mourning?
Not for the show.
One last thing for you, Jordan, and the listeners of the show. Also aired during the run of Almost Human.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What a weird time in TV. Very. It looks like people are really going out on a limb for sort of high concept sci-fi shows.
Yeah, people were looking for that serialized science fiction show that was going to work, I guess. All right. Should we get into it?
Yes.
Can I mention one real quick thing?
Gillian needs to go.
I have a whole bunch of weird quotes and stuff from Chris Carter. We don't have to talk about those, but his goal for this show was apparently to do 99 episodes.
Yes. I've got a bunch of information. We can get into that at the end.
Okay.
'Cause I've got
So
a-
just think of it. He wanted to do specifically 99 episodes.
Well, let's get into it, and we can sort of unpack that as we go.
Old lady wouldn't make it that far.
Here is the IMDb summary for The After. 8 strangers are thrown together by mysterious forces and must help each other survive in a violent world that defies explanation. So we start on a bit of a chaotic montage of imagery, but really that is just to lead us into meeting our lead, Gigi.
Yeah, you know what? You have to tell me the names because I realized I didn't catch any of the characters' names in this.
Gigi is waking up in a hotel in LA. And what do we know about Gigi? What's Gigi all about?
I have this French prostitute mom.
Interesting.
There you are.
I know where the mom comes from, and I know where the French comes from. Where's the middle part come in?
She's an actor.
Yes.
And she's auditioning for a role, but you don't realize because she's talking in the mirror and she's being like, with her gun, like, you don't fuck with me. You don't understand how fucking strong I am. And she weighs maybe 95 pounds. She's really small. She's a very small boned woman. And then you realize that it's actually for an audition and that she's just an actor and it's all just make believe.
Did you actually think she was going to be a tough guy?
No.
For one hot second, you're like, she's going to be badass.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think so, but then she was just talking to her kids beforehand, so her kid. One kid.
Or a kid, yeah.
Yeah, one kid.
Do you ever get the name of the kid?
I don't think so, no. She's got a husband and a kid back in New York City. She's staying in a very luxury hotel. For an actress who's having to audition, she's doing all right, though.
I know. I thought the same thing. I was like, so you've traveled and you're staying in a place, like, the show's not putting you up to audition, you know?
What about that, as she leaves for the audition, the, like, valet runs out and he knows her name. He's just like, oh, here's your car, Mrs.
Yeah, and he does, like, a big look long at her, and I'm like, oh, that guy's going somewhere.
Well, that's the thing. I wasn't sure if they were implying that she at one point was a more successful actress and she's making some sort of shift into a different type of role that she's known for, because they kind of hinted at that, but I don't think that really is what was happening.
No,
because
I don't think she's thought put into
she's
it.
also young, right? So it's not like
Yes.
she could have had like a whole career at any point. She's not in her 50s. She's like 20 something.
Yeah, I think it was just TV view of an actor, but I was also just like, is she supposed to be famous? Or like, how is she affording all of this? You're an actress who can't get a role.
Yeah, and well, like the prostitute comes in because like she has this like badass moment where she has her fake gun and she's auditioning and she's nailing it. You know, I would give her.
Do you
want
to talk about this audition with this? They go to some
Bald
sort
man.
of room
Yeah.
with the director. Did you catch the other movie he directed?
No, I didn't. What was it?
The poster on the wall behind him. It was The Day the Sun Stood Still.
Oh, it's a sequel to The Day the Earth Stood Still?
I would assume so, or an unlicensed knockoff maybe.
Maybe the porno version.
But yeah, she does her audition. She pulls out her gun, and which I gotta ask: do you think it's a wise idea to bring a very realistic looking gun to an audition with you? I just felt like there's a good way to like go to jail.
I actually thought that was going to be a plot point when she had the gun, and then they have this scene where she puts the gun down and her cell phone, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a thing later, which it kind of is, but I thought it was going to
be more important.
Yeah, like it was going to start the chain of events happening, but it doesn't.
Did you like her audition, her monologue in the audition? She said bastard arguably 7 times in the middle.
Did she?
All I kept hearing her say, because she has that French, very thick French. She'd be like, bastard. I was just like, she keeps saying the word bastard.
That's probably why she didn't get the part. But no, that isn't why why didn't she get the part, Gillian?
She's not right for the role of the mother because
she's too sexy, and then they wanted her to be the prostitute.
Too young, too sexy. Will you read for the role of the daughter, who You do mention she's a prostitute, but you didn't get the full character description.
I didn't. It's a very extensive.
It's very funny because they're like, why don't you just flip ahead to page 88? And she starts reading page 88, which apparently has this entire character description of this character, which is arguably the last third of the film. But she reads it and she looks up and she's like, this part is a 20-something drug addict prostitute in a relationship with a married couple who is tied up and naked. I'm like, there's a lot going on page 88.
And
Yeah.
what was the comment they were making here? Was the comment that she's in a tough place in her career? Was the comment that this is gross Hollywood? Was the comment that there's not enough rules for women? Or was it just oblivious, sort of like, it's TV?
I think it was more like, isn't it gross what women have to audition for? Although it's weird, 'cause she was auditioning for the mother, and they're like, oh, you're too young and sexy. Why don't you, wouldn't you have known that before she showed up? That you didn't want her to audition for the mother?
I guess for her, she's like, I am a mother, therefore I can play a mother.
Oh, but I could also be the daughter. I'm the right age for both.
Yeah.
Either way, it doesn't go well. She's
No.
irritated. She leaves. She throws out the script in the garbage can.
I did like the director when she's just like, describes the character. He's like, yeah, so French.
So French, yeah.
So French. But yes, I also like the director at some point says that when she's talking, he's like, a little less accent, please.
Yeah. It is weird to have brought her in, knowing how old she was, how she looks, what her previous roles are,
And
that
her-
she's French, but you don't like any of that.
Please audition, but don't do any of the things you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, you're right. She leaves. She's upset. Tosses that script in the garbage. She's gonna go get her car from the parking garage. There's a few police walking around, but she doesn't seem to be bothered by that.
No, not at all.
And she gets on the elevator with a cast that's like the setup to a bad joke.
It is.
Let's-
Something's about to happen.
Let's list off who's on this elevator. There's the actress.
They keep saying here, only referred to as old lady.
Old lady.
Although I can't remember the actress. It's Sharon Lawrence playing it, which is, she's not that old. And also they just keep saying old lady as if she's like 80 and she's like 50.
Yeah, no, I would 45 to 55.
Yeah.
So there's actress, old lady on the elevator. There's cop.
Yeah,
Cop.
that's right.
Young little cop.
Yeah,
Woman.
and also not a good cop.
Bad cop.
Yeah.
And then there's Irishman.
Oh yeah.
Who's English?
Yeah, I was gonna say couldn't
he English?
He could not keep that accent going
Absolutely.
for 5 seconds.
He's Welsh, actually. The man is Welsh. But I wrote down, and I'm good at accents, and I literally wrote down mad Englishman. And then because I thought he was like a northern English, kind of like rough and tumble, like a Jason Statham type dealio. But then he, about halfway through, you're like, are you Irish? And then they start calling him Irish.
Yeah, I took him for Irish.
Yeah, but it's not a good accent.
Is not
consistent.
consistent at all.
And then just before the door closes, one last character walks in.
Hand. White gloved hand.
In walks.
A clown
You know what?
in full regale, all clown all the
Full
time.
make-
Was so excited. You know what we've never seen on any of these shows? There has never been a character who's like, he's a clown.
Yeah.
One of your leads is a clown. And I'm just like, "Phew, why don't we have more clowns on television?
Oh, that's why. And they all laugh.
Oh,
when
it's the funniest thing they've ever
opens,
seen.
as if it's funny, and I would have fucking screamed.
If you were the clown?
No, if a clown
Oh.
the door opened, I don't like clowns, man.
I
Clowns
thought
are out to get you. That's what I wrote down.
Clowns are out to get you. All right. Let's get into these characters a little bit. What are the character traits of the old lady? What do we know about the old lady?
Weak,
she's an old biddy.
rich.
Diabetes.
She's like wearing a faux Chanel suit. So that's she's got money. She's got that big bouffant teased hairdo.
Great.
And she's having a hard time. She's always telling us
She has a condition
She has a
Yeah.
condition,
that
yeah.
she won't specify.
because she doesn't know what it is. It's just
It
that
might be
she's old.
claustrophobia. It might be.
Didn't it turn out just to be diabetes?
Yeah.
It was
she just needed
she
like
wouldn't articulate it.
she just needed an orange juice.
And cheese and crackers.
Yeah.
All right. What is the defining character trait of the Irishman?
He's kind of saucy and he's always angry and he's like looking to fight. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's such stereotypes.
I wrote down piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's an Irishman as seen from someone else's view in like 1900.
Yeah. Always looking for the Adorno.
Clown. Inexplicably gay, which you can tell via a lisp.
You think so?
No, they specifically say at some point, he's gay.
Oh, I didn't
They
catch
said that later, but yeah.
But I caught it early on because I'm like, is this actor putting on a lisp this whole
Jamie
time?
Kennedy,
He
baby.
is.
And that was such a reveal later in the, because he's in clown makeup for the most of the beginning of this episode, and it's not until halfway through he like takes off his makeup and scares the old lady, and they're like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "Jamie Kennedy, what were you doing in that closet?" And he's like, "It's me, the clown, the whole time." And I was like,
But
"Wow."
it takes him way too long to say it's me, the clown. It goes back and forth. He's like, you know me, but he's not saying I'm the clown.
He's just like, "Don't you recognize me? My bone structure." And what's crazy is I knew Jamie Kennedy was in the show because it's actually IMDb. I still didn't know he was a clown until he took off his makeup.
Agreed.
I thought the same thing. I forgot too.
I
So
absolutely forgot.
here's what we've learned. Clown make is the most effective way to obscure your
Disguise
face.
yourself.
Yeah.
I loved it. And then, of course, finally, there's the cop who, as you said, ineffectual. And I just wrote down, has no other attributes other than being a cop.
Yeah, a bad cop.
Who like loves the rules and is just like, but everyone should listen to me for the only reason that I have this vest that says police.
What does the vest say?
Police.
Anyway, as they're on this elevator, the power goes out and they're trapped. So they're forced to pry open the doors and escape into the parking garage.
The way that the clown came in, I was expecting.
Oh, did you think the clown broke the elevator?
Yes, I thought the clown, and I was like, what are the fucking chances that this clown just stops the elevator with his gloved paw, and then he gets on, and then when they're like trying to figure out, the like, hit the button, and he's like, oh yeah, and I was like, oh, he's doing it.
Are you a clown bigot?
Maybe. I've never liked them since I was a small child.
I do like the idea. It hadn't occurred to me that it would all be the fault of the clown, but I do like that you're watching a show and you're just like the entire time you're like side-eyeing this clown, like,
yes,
you broke this elevator.
I remember going to the circus when I was a kid, and I remember the clown jumped into the trampoline head first and went into the springs, and then came out and was wearing like a spring hat on either side of his head, and I thought that was pretty fun.
Good gag.
Yeah, it was a good gag. I was like, his springs are in his head. Like, everyone, no one's laughing at this. Anyways, he doesn't do anything like that.
No, he's a very boring clown. He doesn't even
He's
tell
off-
any
he's off duty.
jokes.
He's off duty.
Yeah,
He's not off
his
duty
fingers
the
are
whole
raw.
time.
They're raw from all those balloons he'd been doing.
Anyway, they escape this elevator and end up in a parking garage where they've been sealed in. All the doors out are closed. The gate is locked, and they're not
The
sure.
alarms are going off.
Car alarms are going off.
Also, my note here was, if this whole episode takes place in this parking garage,
Me too.
I'm going to kill myself.
Me too.
Because I honestly, that's when they were down there, I'm like, oh no, this is what it's going to be. The whole episode is stuff happening and they're stuck in this parking garage. But thankfully, they're only here for 4 hours.
My note is the after the parking garage?
Oh, it could have been.
It could have been.
I'm glad it wasn't.
But now that they're out, we've got these 5 characters who we've come to know and love so well.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
time to add a few more characters to the mix.
Yes.
Out of the stairwell comes 2 more, a lawyer and an escort, both also unaware of the situation going on. I guess their characters are, the lawyer is a lawyer and the escort is nothing.
She's the only person in this that I was like, oh, I know you. You're fucking famous. She's in her IMDb is, she's so famous. She's been in
Who
shows
is she? I
forever.
honestly didn't recognize her.
The actress is, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Ariel Cabell?
Cabell, I think.
Cabell?
But yeah, no, her IMDb, like, she's very, very. she's
Give
just
us
like
give
a-
us top 2 credits.
Her top 2 credits would be The Grudge 2, Think Like a Man.
Both classics.
I
She has
originally-
done a lot of stuff.
I originally know her from Gilmore Girls. She had a
Oh,
recurring
there
role
we
in
go.
Gilmore Girls years and years ago. She's had bit parts in pretty much every major TV drama of the last 10 years.
She's a good working actor then.
Oh, absolutely. Like, she
All
has
right, all
good
right.
money. So I was like, oh, she's in it. She's going to be the funny one.
She's currently in playing the role of Amelia Sachs in Lincoln Rhyme, Hunt for the Bone Collector.
Oh, yes, the new Bone Collector television program.
There you go.
And there's also 2 two escaped prisoners running around the parkade.
Right.
Yeah, but how they come into things was such an odd. So like this what happens now. They're all sort of in the parking garage and
They're all
can't
freaking
get out.
out.
They're all trapped.
they're all freaking
alarms-
out way more than they should.
Not
be.
the lawyer though, and the escort. They're fine.
Yeah, they're fine.
They're not actually bothered by it at all.
The alarm is going off the entire time.
Yeah.
And it's really starting to bug me.
So they walk down to see if they can find some sort of exit. The cops sort of taking the lead, and out of the blue, someone runs down in between two cars, and so she just pulls out her gun and shoots him.
Because
so
that's what the police do.
There's no indication he's bad.
No.
He has a gun.
No.
He's being threatening. Literally just a guy running, and so she shoots him in the stomach.
Down he goes.
And down he goes.
Apparently there was a prison bus breakout, so that's what the police were looking for, is these escaped convicts. So now we have one shot in the stomach, and the other one, who will be one of our lead character. I'm sure you didn't catch his full name because I don't think they ever said it, but they call him D the whole time.
Yes.
D Love.
But his full name is D Love. I know, amazing.
I'm obsessed with that. He is lovely.
What I liked about D is when they're like, they kind of talk to him, there's this whole standoff, but it all resolves pretty quickly, and they're like, let's all just agree to get out of here. And then one of the people points down at the other prisoner who's been shot in the stomach and is bleeding to death. He's like, I think your friend's bleeding to death. He's like, that guy? Fuck him. He ain't my friend. And they literally walk away from that bleeding, dying man, never to return to him again.
No, he seemingly just dies.
They just left him to slowly die out of a gunshot.
Also, the cop didn't seem like she was sad enough about it.
No, and that like she didn't even like check herself to be like, oh shit, I'm a little trigger happy, aren't I?
He's a prisoner. He had it coming.
Oh, there you go.
Yikes. The prison industrial complex is real. And he drops that line. Like,
That is Dee's primary character. Not only has he claims to be an innocent man,
which you know he is.
He's been in prison for 13 years, and he drops so many references to the 13th Amendment.
He knows his rights, and the feeling I got is that by episode 63 or so, we'd really get his back history, and you go, oh, he was innocent.
Oh
in
yeah,
a series of
Hundo, he was
flashbacks.
innocent. And this is played by Aldous Hodge,
That's
by
right.
the way, who is a lovely actor who you can tell even from this that like that guy's going places.
Oh yeah, he is certainly the high point of this series.
Yes. And he
Or
was
show.
most recently seen in Clemency, which is an outstanding piece of cinema that everyone should see.
There you go. Put it on your Netflix list, everybody. Dee also happens to be the most useful character of the group.
He's the only interesting, useful one.
Well, he's the only person who
problem solver.
Yeah, and he propels the story.
Yes.
Because if he wasn't there, they just sort of spin in circles. So he's like, we should go to this door. We should try opening the door. We should try getting out. He's the one who leads all the action.
He finds a carjack in the back of one of these cars, and the gate that's closed down in the garage, he gets the carjack underneath and starts like jacking it up so that they'll be able to slide underneath and get out of this parkade they're trapped in, unaware of what's happening out there in the world, which seems to be something ominous, but hard to say.
I don't think we know yet, though, do we?
No,
Haven't
we
a
don't.
clue.
We just see a man walk past the gate, and they yell for help, and he just sort of like shrugs and walks away.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gets the gate up just enough so that Dee can slide under, and then of course Gigi, our French actress, slides under as well. Unfortunately, as she comes through, she seems to kick the jack out and trap the rest of them.
It like I think it was too heavy. I think it literally just snapped.
I did like that Jor drops on her ankle, and I thought that was going to be a real impediment for her. Not really. She's fine.
Also, I have a moment, and I spent a long time. Her stilettos that she is wearing for the first whole half of the show are outrageous. Like, they're so thin, and it is so difficult to, like, you can see her struggling the entire time she's walking in any scene.
Right.
I'm like, take them off. Take them off. But she does. She's just about
She does.
to.
She will. She will soon.
Thank God.
Did you? What I found interesting was when they're trying to get it under the garage, they're all trying to like lift it up. They're like, everyone get together, we'll all lift this gate up. And the clown is just like, oh, it's too much. It's too much work.
I
can't.
blow up balloons.
I can't possibly join you in lifting this easily to lift gate.
Well, he wins because he doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
It's true. And now, all of our other characters are trapped in this parking garage for the next 15 minutes, and we get to follow Gigi out into the wide world. And what's going on outside of the parking garage?
The camera sort of does a pull out, and you see that it's sort of like pandemonium. People are running around.
Pandemonium is
you're not,
correct.
You're not really sure what's happening. It almost looks like a major sporting event has just let out. Like there's just people everywhere.
People
and
are
then
in the streets.
A helicopter is flying. And
Don't forget about the sound.
What's the sound?
Do you not remember she stops to talk to a cop, and there's like an explosion or a like concussion sound that like starts breaking windows.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Which we'll hear for the rest of this like episodes. Like there's this like ominous noise that's just happening that no one knows what
so
it is.
she's kind of running around. She keeps trying to get help. Everyone's being Everyone just seems very focused to a somewhat odd degree as
It
what's happening.
is.
Like, hey, police officer, help me. And he's like, I can't even talk to you right now.
Well,
I can't even take Tuesday.
she asked for an explanation. And did you get the explanation?
No,
he gives
what do you
her?
say?
What about you? Did you hear his explanation for what was happening?
We don't know, but it's been over 24 hours and
Nobody knows what's happening.
Yeah.
Nobody knows how many are affected or how widespread it is. But what we do know is communication's been gone since yesterday.
yes,
But
they've only been in the parking garage for 25 minutes.
However long it takes to shoot an innocent person, that's how long they've been in the parking lot.
so what? How has communication been down for 24 hours?
I can't even wrap my head around it.
And neither can Gigi.
Yeah, she can't either.
She's like, what day is it?
She doesn't even have. That's very good. She doesn't even have time because then 2 helicopters crash into each other,
Yeah, exactly.
and then she's
It
like,
is not 2 helicopters crash into each other. It is one barreling into the other one.
"Oh, so you won't?" I thought it would be 50% insurance on each side.
Absolutely not. The black
That's
one
one-sided, that
absolutely
collision.
barreled into the other one, and then there's an explosion.
Everyone goes crazy. Gigi trips and falls because she's in those heels and is not trampled to death, but essentially crushed by fleeing people in the chaos.
And let's be real, she would absolutely have been trampled to death. At least, or a minimum, her bones would have been broken.
Yeah, 'cause she'd be like, "Anyone have a
She
hard-boiled
is
egg?"
brittle boned.
When she comes to, she's been pulled to the side of the road.
She gets up, she wakes back up, she goes back to the hotel.
Yeah, she abandons them entirely and heads back to the hotel.
Right.
I actually thought that was going to be an interesting thing. I thought at this point she was going to go, you know what, screw you guys.
Me
I'm going to go
too.
do my thing. And I
It
thought,
did feel that way.
What an interesting character trait, because I thought she's now gone and it's going to have just left these people. But it's just a kind of little time waster before we get them all together. But she goes back to the hotel because she needs her phone is really what she's
That's
looking
true.
for.
She bribes a security guard to let her back upstairs to her hotel room. Where
She bosses up with the security guard. She uses her acting training.
It's true. She gets up to her door and realizes there's no power, so she can't use her card to get in.
Is a little nitpicky point. But if in a hotel there's a power outage, all the card keys are used by like batteries. So like you can still get into your room.
100.
So like because it doesn't make any sense for a hotel to if there's a power outage for everyone to be locked in or out of the rooms. Like I know it's a plot point so that she has this interaction,
They
but it's like
introduced that gun in Act 1, so they
I know they've got to use it. So that's the reason for it. So she can threaten the guy so he kicks open the door and she can get her phone.
Yeah, I did
She
like her
left.
way to get back in. She went down, pulled a gun on security guard, and it's like, come back upstairs with me and kick open the door.
Because she's only tiny.
Yeah, no, I absolutely, I was like, yes, this is you thinking. You're thinking, girly. I like it.
Gets her phone, gets her luggage, puts on a sensible pair of shoes.
They're nice shoes too. This is a nice purple lavender brogue. I mean, they don't go with her outfit, but that's fine.
Why didn't she not change that dress?
I don't know, and that was mad.
Well, this is a question for both of you. So it may be the end of the world. You go back to your hotel room. Do you pack all your stuff and bring all your stuff in your She brings 2 cases with her.
She doesn't know it's the end of the world.
But they're not cases of stuff. She packs them with supplies.
That's true.
That is true. That
So
is
she's
true.
thinking. I mean,
Gillian's got it.
Yeah, you're right. I take it back.
She's a smart lady.
she is a smart lady, and she's very generous. I mean, she's clearly the Jesus Christ in this situation.
Well, then she goes back down to the hotel, walks out into the lobby, and the valet is waiting there, who the actor is funny. He's playing it. I kept thinking, like, is he going to be like an insane stalker? But I think the actor's just like playing it a little too intensely. But she comes in the lobby, and the valet's like, oh, there you are. Thank God I found you. I saved you a spot on a bus that's going to, there's 1 seat left. I saved it for you. Let me grab your luggage. I'm going to put you on this bus to the airport that I've had waiting here for you. Because I think planes are still like, I was just like, how did this valet know she was here?
It did feel like maybe there was an editing issue here from the 2 scenes we have with the valet,
Yes.
that maybe he was a bigger character, because both scenes with him and her interaction, it's as if they know each other, and we've seen, and it's like,
At
this is
minimum,
weird.
he's a stalker.
And it's been,
or that.
and theoretically, from what we heard from that cop, it's been a day since whatever happened. We don't know why their time jump happened to the thing, but it's been a day. The valet's just been there for a full day, not going home to his own family, waiting for Gigi to come back so he can get her on a plane.
Do you think she got charged for 2 days at the hotel room?
Absolutely.
The power's out. There's no way to tell.
Yeah, that's true. There's no way to tell. The computers are down.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. As soon as power went down, they took out the old books. They're not going to let anyone get it by free. There's no freebies at that hotel.
Fancy hotel.
But here's the thing. So at this point, she goes back down to the fence.
Yeah, she
To go see
basically.
the people. But why didn't she go down in the hotel, back down the staircase, the banker and the woman?
That's not the same place. The valet gave her a car. She those are 2 different locations, miles apart.
But seemingly you could still get through. That stairwell's not electronic.
But I think that I wouldn't want a chance going in a stairwell and getting stuck.
All I'm saying is she goes back to the fence. I'm like, but you could have found another way around.
I mean, that's the fake out. You think she's going to the airport, and what you get is she's come back to the fence to help them. She's come with no plan, but she's returned to the fence anyway.
But as
She's
Gillian
come with
said,
supplies.
Supplies, yeah.
She's come with supplies. I did like that, how long do you think she's been gone? Like, how long since she left them down there?
I would say at least an hour to 2.
When we cut back to them, they're all standing around the fence. They're like, we should maybe get another car jack and try that again. I'm just like, it's been hours, you guys.
Also, get a car and ram the damn door.
That's what I was just like, no one has a plan here. But thankfully, the only useful character, Dee, does.
Yeah. Dee and the mom. They're like mom and dad.
Dee and the mom? Who's the mom? Oh,
Gigi.
Gigi, I see.
Because she brings supplies, because like that's what a mom would do. That's what I would do. I would be like, okay, I would find anything that I could use as a weapon, and including my fake gun, because that proves useful. Also, water gun, in case you get thirsty.
But so what's his face comes back.
Dee.
Dee comes back with an ambulance and bolt cutters.
Yes, he returns. He's stolen an ambulance. He's got bolt cutters. He's cutting their way out of there. So they all load up into the ambulance, with the sole exception of the cop, who hangs off the back of the ambulance.
Why did she hang on the back of the ambulance?
I don't know. She is making weird choices.
Yeah,
I think she was. This was what my thought was, that she was doing it to be like, it's all right, guys. Like, keep moving. I'm
agree.
a police.
I think it's like supposed to be a defensive idea, but it does look insane.
Especially because she's like particularly little.
Yeah, she looks like it's the 1930s and like a kid who's like hitched a ride.
Yes, agreed.
Or the back of a fire engine or something.
Yeah,
There's one guy hanging on the back. They drive up the ramp back into this crowd of just chaos that's outside. There's just people everywhere, and this is weird. Like, they drive slowly into the crowd,
and then after like a pause, everyone's like, "Hey, hey!" It doesn't make sense.
It did make me wonder how he got it there, because everyone's very interested in the ambulance.
But they're not like freaking out.
There's
There's this level of like calmness about people that I'm like,
they just want some answers.
yeah. Don't we all?
And then he slowly rolls forward another 2 feet, somehow hits a motorcycle that's driving by.
Some like kamikaze motorcycle.
Yeah, I blame it more on the motorcycle. He seems to drive into them.
Agree.
And it's at that point the crowd really turns on them.
Yes. He stole this.
I know, they're just accusing them of stealing it, and then trying to flip the ambulance over. And then this was so weird is they're surrounded by people. Mm-hmm. People trying to push them over. They've got to get out of there. And then Dee hits the gas, but there's now no one in front of like, it seems like he should be running over dozens
Well,
of
they
people.
set up a weird problem, and then like, well, we just need to get them out of it, so they get out.
Yeah.
They don't want him to, like, I just understand. I'm like, it's the end of the world. You can have your character drive over a few people. Like, this is,
They don't want him to kill people.
They have made a big deal how he's innocent. He's never killed anyone. That's not how he would do it.
But he has shot people.
He mentions that like 10 times in the show.
Oh yeah.
He's never, he didn't kill anyone. He never has.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, there's this weird part where it's just like, well, the only way out of this is for him to kill someone. But then you like pulled the punch.
Yeah.
It was very strange. But they drive off and they head to the old lady's house.
And she's got a huge house.
It is so great. And like this was when I said, I was like, oh, now this is when these stupid little things get fun to shoot, because you get to be in a location like that.
Where was the house located?
I don't know, where was it?
If you were going to be a fresh prince, where would you go?
Oh, is it Bel Air?
It is in Bel Air.
It's enormous.
It is an estate.
Yes.
Do you think the people in Bel Air get get irritated if you mention the Fresh Prince to them? They're like, yes, we know it was a show in 1993.
Yeah, because they're also probably racist.
The people in Bel Air don't talk to people like us.
Oh, I see. What about those guests we lined up from Bel Air?
Bel Air Direct, maybe.
And once they kind of enter this house and kind of get a chance to calm down, the plot gets a little bit meandery here, and like people just sort of wander around, and like I sort of just wrote down my highlights of this sequence. I don't know. Do you want me to run through my highlights? And you guys can add anything that I'm missing. What we get to see is Gigi running down her phone battery, just watching videos.
Oh, that was infuriating to me. I was like, the power's out though, dude.
I know, she's like desperate to call her daughter, and then you cut to her and she's just like staring at videos. I'm like, your phone's dead. There's no power.
She's just watching a video over and over again of her kid.
And then her battery dies and she's like,
what?
The Irishman and the lawyer creep on the escort for a while.
Yeah, because she goes nude swimming.
She strips down and she strips completely naked and goes for a swim.
Tammy, right?
I'm not sure. I sort of just refer
Tammy.
to them as like their general.
Yeah, it's Tammy.
What I thought was very funny about this is it's going to be an Amazon show, so they're saying the F word and like there's going to be some nudity. But I was just like, you started this entire pilot off with a condemnation of bad female characters forced to strip down to nothing. And then we are now 30 minutes into this thing, and you are doing, Chris Carter, you're doing the exact same thing you just attempted to make fun of without any irony.
It's true.
Yep.
It's a good point.
I was just like, man, Chris Carter, you really do suck.
Well, because the weird thing about the scene, regardless of that, there's no reason for a woman to be just
in the
getting
middle of the
naked swimming.
apocalypse.
Yeah. But in terms of the actual character and what's happening in the story, why is she doing
Well, it
that?
doesn't make any sense. Like, she needs to go for a swim that bad, and she goes one length of the pool and gets out. But
well, she wants to get out. And then
Irish guy
creepy
creeps her.
McCreep.
well, that's what's kind of happening is as the lawyer and the Irishman get together and watch her swimming naked, we get to learn that the lawyer trades her sex for paying for her health insurance.
Which, in America, that's real. That's
You got
good
it.
money.
Did you catch the lawyer's line after he tells him that?
No.
Obama can't touch that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
2014. Man.
It's so weird too because the Irishman is like goes down and kind of like tries to like watch her for a bit and tries to hand her a towel, and he has been like a jerk for this whole time, but he now shifts into like classic creepy nice guy style.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to be like really extra nice to her, and it's,
Which only to women makes us feel like you're a rapist.
well, I mean, he is for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because he's really trying to like win her over by like being like, "Oh, you're so great. Could I just get in this towel?" And when she like walks away from him, he's just like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, I offered you a towel, and you wouldn't have sex with me.
Yeah, fully.
I did like though the escort as she comes out of the pool starts quoting the Bible. Like this is the first time we've get any indication of her character, and
There's a close up of her tattoo.
her tattoo
Triple
3/8.
eights. Yeah.
What's that gonna mean? They really focus in on it, so you know. I think that's the only reason they had to strip down, so they could find some excuse
Agreed.
to show.
I
the
think you're
tattoo.
right.
Agreed.
Well, they were like, she has a tattoo. We need to show it. And they're like, well, she could just get naked. Like, well, why would she get naked? Well, it's hot. It's Los Angeles. Well, it's Bel Air specifically. So I don't know. She goes skinny dipping. Like, this all makes sense.
I'm here for, letting free in the nipple, and like if she wants to go jump in, it's like she doesn't know what kind of clothes old lady has. She probably doesn't want to get her clothes wet. I mean, would I have maybe kept my undies on? I definitely wouldn't have kept my bra on, but
I'd have been in there
it's
making a
literally just a reason to
sandwich.
show this tattoo.
It is. Did you find it unexpected that she quoted the Bible and like seemed to be very religious suddenly?
Oh, but it was like more than, to me. I was like, oh shit, is she into like the rapture? Like, is
It definitely
this...
southern like rapture
Yes.
kind of idea. She seems to even
Yes.
appropriate a bit of a southern accent in that later bit.
And like you're like, oh, there's more to you. But then I also was like, are you being possessed?
Oh.
No, I think it's just like halfway through. They're like, oh, yeah, this is what she's like. Anyways, sorry we didn't tell you before.
We also get the cop discovering a calendar on the old lady's fridge and realizing, hey, me and the old lady, we have the same birthday, March 7th.
Yeah, and the way they do this scene is just the clumsiest way ever, because it's almost as if like it's
One
like
by one.
Yeah, like a bad comedy where characters just want, March 7th is also my birthday. March 7th, you say? That's my birthday. Is someone saying March 7th? That was my birthday. Like, so my birthday is May the 8th. If I ever hear someone saying May the 8th, I wouldn't go, just everyone knows that's my birthday. It's like, what?
And that's where we differ. Whereas if someone were to say May 23rd, I would say, oh, that's my birthday.
Would you really?
Absolutely.
Oh, so you're one of these characters.
Yeah, I mean, it
Gigi.
says a lot that
You
you're
said Gigi.
that
We already
you're
agreed.
a Taurus.
Actually, the only one who doesn't say his birthday is the Irishman. So you're like the Irishman.
I'm like, oh yeah, that's great. That's what I'm like. The worst character of
Yeah.
them.
I have a note that I don't know if so I said it earlier about the Adorno. Any notes on it?
I'm sorry, the Adorno?
Adorno. So the Irishman, when he comes into into old lady's house,
The mansion.
the Mick mansion, he finds the
yes.
the cellar,
The wine
wine cellar, and he states that he is going to marry this old woman.
Yeah, for her
because
wine.
of all of the booze she's got, and it says Adorno on it, so I wrote it down and then make a little bottle here, and I googled it because I was like, oh, I wonder what kind of booze or wine, that is. It's not. Theodore Adorno was an philosopher, and so this is what Adorno's theory is.
Oh, it's a little spoiler.
It's a little deep cut from
Easter
Chris
egg
Carter.
for us.
It was responsible for the creation of the philosophical form called critical theory, which takes the stand that oppression is created through politics, economics, culture, and materialism, but is maintained most significantly through consciousness. Adorno is also known for his critique of the culture industry.
Holy fuck. This show makes perfect sense now.
Does it?
But right? I was like, that's
Very good.
I was like,
Good
that's a
pull.
connection.
Good pull. No, that's great. That is really that is the
Am
kind
I
of
going to be invited back now?
these are the deep cuts we're looking for from our guests, because we're not doing any of this research. Jordan just goes to sleep when halfway through, and
Yep.
that basically wraps up for the most part the meandering part for me. I don't know if there's anything that stood out for you in that, because after that we kind of, once their birthday, they all realize we have the same birthday. The plot kind of kicks back in, and the Irish guy decides not only is he sexist, he's also a bit of a racist. So Dee beats him up on the floor of the kitchen.
Thank God someone needed to.
And also, this show has swearing doesn't bother me, but in shows where it seems needless, it does bother me. Where it just seems like anytime the writer had like a bit of they got stuck, they're like, just stick in a swear word, and this show it sticks out so badly that it's like it's on Amazon. This isn't on normal TV. We can say what we want.
I will agree with you in this way, because I don't notice the swearing. That stuff doesn't bother me. It just fades over me. But at some point, I was like watching it, and I was like, I had to occur to me that this was an Amazon show, because I was like, oh, this could just be NBC. Like, this could be an NBC show. Like, there's nothing about this.
If it wasn't for the swearing.
Yeah.
Yes.
If it weren't for the swearing and the nudity, it could easily just be like a mid-season show.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing about it that needs some sort of like fancy like no rating. Like, it is just like a very run-of-the-mill show. So you're right. Like, the swearing is weirdly like apropos enough.
Yeah.
But the thing that I didn't like about the swearing was that they were kept, all the like the women characters kept being like, must you? And I was like, stop bringing it up. Just get over it.
The old lady character, yeah.
And Gigi.
Oh, does she too?
Yeah.
Did you like how Gigi stops the fight from happening finally when?
Yeah, she jumps on Dee's back as if she could make an end to that.
Oh, I wrote what I thought she did was I thought she just started crying until he stopped. They cut to her. And she's
We'd have to check the tape.
Oh no, I'm thinking of the cop. What happened to the cop? Is the cop still there?
She's still talking about her.
Everyone's in that room. Just
She's
kind
still
of
going on about her birthday.
Yeah, right. They're all Pisces.
I noticed no one got me a present.
Right.
At that moment, a car pulls up outside, and the whole group heads out to see who this car's pulling up. Is it going to be the rich lady's housekeeper, Griselda, who she's been looking for 5 to 10 minutes, and just yelling Griselda everywhere she walks?
Yeah, it sort of is.
Sort of is. It is also a gang of stereotypical Hispanics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and they've come
Latinx men who have got big guns.
Yeah, the assuming she's the maid, right?
Yeah, the housekeeper.
Yeah.
Housekeeper, excuse me. And she has family or friends
Yeah,
of family.
I think the idea
that
is like these are people she knows, and they know she works somewhere nice.
yeah, so they've come in and be like, we want a piece of that money because chaos is happening outside.
Yeah, let's rob this place. Yeah. They're like, rock up to the lady, like, give us the combination you're safe. She's like, I don't remember. I got to go look for it. And they're like, fine, go look for it. And then the one guy just shoves the old lady over. I'm like, that's not going to help her find it. But in shoving the old lady over, Dee breaks his rule of not murdering anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just starts shooting.
Just blows away one guy, starts shooting randomly at the others, and they all kind of just run into the forest.
Well, there's a funny scene too because it's an extended scene of them running through a field, like just a very very large open, no tree. Just it looks like a golf course, just running to get to the trees. I'm like, if you're running from someone, this is not the way you go.
Well, I do like they run all the way through the mansion first, and then out into the yard, and they're running. I'm like, where are they going?
They're going to the
Dee
forest.
yells, just keep running.
You got to keep running.
And what's the Irish guy trying to do while they're all running?
Oh, he's
Get
going
more
back
Adorno.
for that Adorno.
Yeah,
You got to get that Adorno.
he's trying to carry like an entire case of wine.
Yeah, he's absolute prick.
It doesn't go well. He drops it.
Yeah.
When they get to the forest, it's like kind of like, I guess they're running so quickly they all lose each other. Like the party splits up when they get to the forest. In the forest, we get a glimpse of a wolf. Scary.
And an owl.
And an owl.
Yeah,
oh.
I wrote it down as a transition owl. There's just a weird shot of an owl.
Yeah.
Just to start the scene. I'm like, what? Why? And it's like, no, there's just an
I
owl.
literally wrote Snow White fantasy
Yeah, it is very much like that.
for Gigi. Yeah.
There's some weird voices in the forest. Since they split up, Gigi ends up with D, and D's like, all right, we got to go. And Gigi's like, I need to go back to my house. That house, I forgot my purse there. They make a big stink about how she wants to get her purse back. And the next scene, she's just like, oh, I don't want it. The lawyer character, he wants to keep running. He wants to abandon the group, and he gets his karma paid off immediately because
I don't remember what
His
happens to
leg
him.
snaps.
Oh, that's right. That's
And
right.
Tammy's like, are you hurt? He's like, yeah. I
his
love
bone
Tammy
is
then.
out of his
Yeah, Tammy rules.
That was it was very funny because he's just like, fuck them. And he literally
Yeah.
turns 180 and falls over and his leg snaps in half.
Yeah.
That's what would happen though. In
Exactly.
reality, if you had like some sort of grand gesture, you're gonna then fall on your face right
Yes.
after.
But eventually what happens is Gigi convinces D, hey, we need to stick together as a group. So D's like, fine, I'm going to walk back into the forest. You wait here in this small clearing, and I will gather everyone and bring them back here. And she leaves Gigi sort of sitting on the side of a tree stump, and spooky voices start coming in. Things are getting creepy. A weird gray Slenderman hand sort of reaches over her shoulder as if he's going to touch her. And D returns just in time.
With a kablooey.
He blasts it.
He blasts it.
And what has he blasted?
It's like, I don't know what you call it. It's
an
like,
alien.
It's like a creepy looking alien monster man
Who has
with
tattoos of everybody else's tattoos.
Yeah, it's covered. It's covered in tattoos. Tattoos that both the Irishman and Tammy have. Red eyes, speaks in tongues, very humanoid looking.
Very. Blue-gray.
Blue-gray.
A little indigo
And I will
tie-dye.
I will tell you what I think it is, because as they pan up its head, it's got two stubby little horns on its forehead. I think it might be a demon.
or a devilly demon.
Very. I felt I'm like, a little demon going on here. Body covered in like runes and like drawings of monsters.
He also does a nice little crab walk.
Yeah.
Yes.
They think he's dead, and they're all standing over his body, and he like twists his limbs backward, and then like Exorcist
Scuttles away.
scuttles away. Very good. I really like the scuttle.
Yeah.
I think it was probably the best part of the show.
It was a real surprise. Like finally, like what is happening here? And we leave the gang in the woods, wondering what's next. Hard cut. The show is over.
And
Yeah.
then you finally get the title of the show,
What was it again?
The After.
Oh, backwards F.
Backwards F.
All right, let's break down this. Let's debrief on the show for a couple seconds here, because this is like crazy. Like, I've never watched anything where even by the end of the pilot, I still had no idea what was happening.
That's okay. So I agree but I kind of thought that. So I didn't realize that it was a show. I thought it was like a TV movie. And
oh yeah, I want to hear more about this.
So I thought it was a TV movie, that it was like, the world has been invaded by these blue guys.
Yeah, well, whoever they are.
And like, they're all eventually just going to die. That was it.
Were you like, great? Were you like, you were into it?
Kind of, because I was like, I like things that just end, and like, they don't need to explain it. Like, this is how it happened, and then that's how the world ends.
I mean, to be fair, that's what the show is now. Like, you got that show.
Yeah. That was a beginning, middle, and end to me.
Well, can I give you a quote from Chris Carter on this?
Sure, yeah,
Yes.
I've got a bunch of stuff about him here.
Okay.
So let's talk
So here's
about
what Chris Carter said about the show, because there's a few different things, and we'll talk why it's get canceled. But so he said it might. So again, he wanted to do 99 episodes, and he said it might have taken us 11 years to make 99 episodes in my mind, but I wanted to do the Inferno, as I should say, all of Dante. That was my approach. Try to mimic the 99 cantos. It was a tough sell. It was 8 characters in hell, basically, and I think that's the reason we parted ways when he was speaking about Amazon. That was when someone was asking why he thinks the show is canceled. So that was his. Again, he there's a bunch of comments about Dante's Inferno. That's
Yeah,
what he's
it's-
trying
So
to do.
D's name is for sure Dante.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dante Love.
Yeah.
Great name, by the way.
Yeah.
Did you catch this in some of the interviews with him? Is that he hadn't written a Bible or
I
any
did.
information, that he wanted to discover the series as he went.
He didn't
Yeah.
write a Bible.
Yeah,
Which if you wonder why Amazon was like nervous about this.
Yeah, here's another quote from him. So blah blah blah. It was a hard sell from the beginning. It was 8 characters in hell, and I really didn't do a Bible for the show because I wanted to discover what it was about. It was a hard sell and would have been an investment for them, Amazon, if they were going to do 8 episodes of 40 million. So I can understand the reluctance, and I still think I had 8 great episodes in me.
Well, what I do like though is, despite what is obviously quite a few warning signs, Amazon greenlit it for 8 more episodes.
That's right.
They only pulled the plug like a few months later. Like someone finally came to their sentences.
But they never did shoot even one other.
No,
episode.
no. But it's crazy to me that they even like got to the point where they're like, oh, all right, sure.
Agree.
When a man shows up with no Bible and just like, I don't know,
that was
I'll
my
figure it
note.
out.
My last note for the show was, why would anyone make this? How charismatic is Chris Carter?
He must be good in the room.
He must be, because he sold, again, he has the X-Files.
Might be good in the sack.
That's how he got his show?
I don't know. Sex sells.
What I liked is I read some of the stuff where some of the later stuff where he kind of was like talking about what went wrong. And my favorite thing is he blamed the failure of the show on that he felt that Amazon thought it was too new and too original.
Yeah, I did see that too.
And I was just like, no, I don't know about too new or too original.
Well, I think what he was, in defense of Chris Carter, and I don't think this is a very good show, I think what he was saying new and original was the idea of a showrunner starting a show and not knowing where it's going to go, and the idea that he's going to discover it along the way. Now, that is different and original, but it's also lazy and not professional.
I would argue not even true. I've seen Gemini Man. I know they didn't know where they're going with that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I know at least one show that didn't know where it was going.
But it is funny. I do think you get the difference of opinion where he thinks it would be great to just discover this thing and let the actors find out what they're doing. And
Yeah.
and the story will tell itself. It's like, but this is a business. You can't, you know.
Well,
and
can you imagine? He's like, I want $40 million to do 8 episodes, and I don't even know what the next script's going to be. It's just like, well, how can we even budget that?
yeah.
We don't even know what an episode's going to cost because you won't tell us.
He's like, guys, don't be scared of what's new and original.
All right, Gillian, you've written something down.
So I assume they're all a different circle of hell.
Each
there's
individual
8
character.
characters.
Oh,
Yes.
interesting.
If there's 8.
Well, I wasn't sure now if.
And if D is Dante.
Well, I wasn't sure if they were all going to be representative of a layer of hell, or if every episode was going to be them descending in some sort of other hellish nightmare. Like, you know what I mean? Or I wasn't sure how he was going to structure it. And clearly, Chris Carter didn't either.
Yeah.
But I think he likes the idea of people
Are you?
being in
Do
hell.
you want to match the characters to the levels? You've written them down, so I'm assuming.
Well,
that's
I've
where
just
you're
written
headed.
I've written the 7 circles of hell. Wrath.
Wrath has got to be what's his face? McCormick, the Irish guy. No?
I could say gluttony was him because he's like the booze hound.
You know what? I bet you we find out. Is there a 7th circle of hell that fits for the clown? Because I bet you we find out the clown.
Limbo.
Oh, you think so?
I would say limbo.
Interesting. This is not good. This is not as easy as we thought it was gonna be.
No, I know. Like greed, you could say the lawyer.
Yeah. The lawyer,
Lust, you could say
probably the
Tammy.
escort. You're probably Tammy's going to take that one.
Tammy.
So maybe.
Heresy could be Gigi.
Okay. Because she's French?
Yeah. Oh, greed is the old lady. Greed is the old lady. Wrath is the Irishman. Who am I missing? Violence is the cop.
Violence is the cop. Great.
There you go.
We
And then
got it.
Dante.
And then Dante. He goes through them all.
Yeah.
There you go. Solved
Okay.
it.
I will say one thing about the idea of a show where it was just like, he's just like, it's going to be them traveling through the 7 levels of hell. I mean, Chris Carter would never do this because that's not the like. But there's something like, I couldn't watch the show, but there's something about the idea of like, here's 7 characters, and we are going to torture them graphically across like a season of hell. Like, there's something like that's a crazy idea.
Yeah, but you know that's not what he's going to do.
He's not going to do that. But like, even that concept that someone's just like, it's going to be a show where I torture 7 characters across like an entire season. I'm like, that's like hostile level of an idea.
I'll give this to
Yeah.
him. Of everything he's done, they're all big picture shows. You know, X-Files had this big mythology that they had about government conspiracies and aliens. Millennium was you watched Millennium,
Oh
right?
yeah.
And that was about what, the end of the world, and
Yeah, it was
more-
the end of the world. It was like, it was a battle of heaven and hell kind of thing.
Harsh Realm was this idea of
Virtual worlds.
virtual worlds and different dimensions, and this obviously is this Dante's Inferno. He has these huge ideas. I just don't know if he's the guy to pull them off. You know?
Well, he's clearly not.
Yeah, he
Well-
needs someone else to come and help him for sure.
yeah.
All right, let's get into it. Let's rate this. Gillian, do you want to give your rating for the after first? We usually do it at 10 stars, much like IMDb.
Oh.
You can choose how you do this. Often, I think we'd like to think of it as just like a level of enjoyment, because quality is one thing. Like, quality is, I think, more quantitative, and it's more. A lot of the shows we watch don't fall; they would fall quite low. But I think there's a level of like, when you watch this, how much entertainment value did you personally receive?
I enjoyed myself. I was not looking forward to it, to be honest. But I gave it a 7.
7.
Holy moly, a 7. Luke,
I liked it.
There you
And
go.
I got Aldous Hodge. I love that guy.
We've talked about this a bit. I've never seen a show that's all tease, no payoff. Like, I've just never seen that before. I've never seen something that like everything, like the garage, tease, what's gonna be outside, get outside. What's happening? Tease. Get to the like they never gave you even like we had to read up about it being Dante's Inferno. Like, I couldn't have told you that just watching the show. And there's something perversely enjoyable about that for me too. I was just like, I've never seen anything quite like this. I've never been like teased with so many possibilities without giving me any indication of what was real. I'm giving it a 7 as well.
See, for all the reasons you listed, I think the reasons I didn't like it, if there was more of a show, if there were further episodes, I think you go, okay, that would be fine to set things up. But because it's a standalone and we have to treat it as a standalone, you have a show where you kind of introduce a bunch of characters, they kind of yell at each other for a while, they kind of run in circles, and then a monster shows up and runs away, and you go, what did I just watch? And
yeah, that's what I loved.
Yeah,
Yeah, same.
3 to 10, hot mess.
To be fair, as I was watching this at home, I was just like, Jordan's livid right now.
Well, I'm not livid. I'm just like, it's a hot mess. Like, it's barely a TV show.
All right. Well, that wraps it up for this episode. Gillian, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
You've been a real treat.
Aw, you too.
Give her a compliment.
Your hair looks real nice.
Thank you. I did it myself.
Great. But yes, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a lot of fun. I'm glad this show turned out to be quite as weird as it did.
Yeah, agreed. I'm glad that I got to watch this instead of Badlands.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert for the audience. Gillian was going to come on for Badlands 2005, but
But she gave herself a brain injury instead.
Yeah.
now that's why she loves the after.
Yeah. It's a win-win.
Well, if you want to talk to us about the after, you can email us at continuumdrag@gmail.com. And of course, on Twitter and Instagram, we're going to have some little clips from the show. Monster crab walking for sure.
That's about it.
I mean,
I think
you'll probably save Tammy
Clown.
stripping down for your personal collection. Those probably won't end up on Instagram. But
yeah.
Clown moment.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
the clown.
I think
yeah.
that's a reveal.
I think Jamie Kennedy walking out of a closet is good.
Yeah.
Can we also just say, like, Jamie Kennedy given nothing to do?
He's been told he's gay, so he does that terrible lisp.
Oh, it's brutal. When you
Yeah.
realize, you're like, oh my god, wait, there's actually someone who like was kind of a thing here.
It is odd, but I think Jamie Kennedy just likes to work.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely just a paycheck.
Do you
for him.
think the big reveal of the show is that this was all going to be a big Jamie Kennedy experiment? Like that's the big. They was like, surprise, you're on the Jamie Kennedy experiment. Anyway,
You mean X? That was the thing, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
Oh my god, with his spiky hair, orange shirt, blue pants, visor upside down and to the side.
All right, with that, let's wrap it up. Listener, thank you so much for joining us this week, and Jordan, see you next week.
See you then.
Continuum Drag is recorded in Toronto, Ontario. Theme music by James Rexedler. Produced by Jordan Delic and Luke Black. Special thanks to Aaron Yunes, Adam Wheatner, Jeff Hanley, Jane McRae, and Stephen Packard.